All right, let's dive right in. We're about to explore a concept that could completely reframe how you think about your most valuable and, yup, non renewable asset. And no, I'm not talking about your money or your job, I'm talking about your time. Let's get to it.
So let me start by asking you a question. Imagine someone walks up to you and offers you 1 crore rupees. That's a whole lot of money. But here's the catch. You don't wake up tomorrow morning. Would you take that deal? Of course not, right? No one in their right mind would. And that simple, obvious answer tells us something incredibly profound. Just one more day of your life is worth more than a fortune.
So, if we all agree on that, if we know our time is literally priceless, then why are we so casual about wasting it? It's kind of funny. We fear death because that's when life stops. But we don't seem to fear wasting time, even though our entire life is lived inside of time. You stop the clock, and life stops right there with it. Think about it like this. Every single morning, your life's bank account gets a new deposit. It's not money, it's this number, 86,400 seconds. And there's just one rule. You have to spend every last second by midnight. There are no rollovers, you can't save it for a rainy day. Whatever you don't use, it's just gone, lost forever. So the real question is, how are you spending yours? This totally redefines what time even is. It's not just the clock on the wall, something passively ticking by. It is the currency of life itself, the very medium our life exists in. You see, we don't have life and time. We have life because of time. It's the ultimate currency we have to spend. In ancient Hindu text, the Atharva Veda had this incredible metaphor for this exact idea. It describes time as this unstoppable, unbelievably fast horse, a pure force of nature that just gallops forward, whether you're on it or not. And this is where it gets really important. When it comes to this horse, you only have two choices. That's it. You can either learn to ride it, to grab the reins and use all that power and momentum to carry you towards your goals, or you can just stand there on the sidelines and watch it gallop off into the distance, leaving you in the dust. There is no third option. History is just filled with people who got this. I mean, take Mahatma Gandhi. During the Salt March, a reporter tried to stop him, saying, "My name is Walker." And Gandhi, without even breaking his stride, just replied, "You are a walker and so am I," and kept on marching. His schedule was more important than any interview. Or think about Abraham Lincoln, juggling work on his father's farm, another job, and his studies, all at the same time, to pull himself from abject poverty all the way to the presidency. And this is such a brilliant example of starting early. Look at Warren Buffett. While all the other kids were out playing, a 6-year-old Buffett was investing his time, going door to door selling gum and soda for a profit. By age 11, he'd saved up enough from a paper route to buy his first stock. And get this, by the time he was 16, he had already earned what would be over $53,000 today. He wasn't just investing money, he was investing his time, and it compounded into a fortune. So, okay, we've seen the rewards of riding the horse, but what's the actual tangible cost of just standing still and letting it run away from you? It's way more than just a missed opportunity. Let's put some real numbers on this. Say somebody earns 30,000 rupees a month. Well, their time is worth about 227 rupees an hour. Now, if they waste just 3 hours a day scrolling or whatever, that's not just lost time. That is a real, quantifiable financial loss. It's the same as taking over 4,000 rupees and just lighting it on fire every single month. Time isn't just an idea, it's cold, hard cash. And this cost isn't just personal. There's a much bigger danger here. This quote, it points to a strategy that's as old as time. If you want to control people, just distract them. The Roman Empire called it bread and circuses. Give the people enough cheap food and mindless entertainment, and they won't notice what's really going on. So what are today's circuses? Well, it's the endless scroll on social media, the binge-watching vortex of streaming shows, all of it designed to capture our most valuable currency, our attention and our time. Okay, so we've laid out the problem pretty clearly. But why? Why do we do it? Why do we let that horse just run by? Well, according to our source material, it all boils down to two really fundamental reasons, two great sins against our own potential. First up, a lack of energy. And this isn't just about being physically tired. It's that mental state, the one, I'm just not in the mood, or I don't feel like it. We sit around waiting for motivation to strike us like lightning. And the second reason, a lack of purpose. We just don't have a clear, compelling answer to the question, what should I be doing with my time right now?
And without a destination, any road will do, which usually means we end up going absolutely nowhere. And here is the brutal, honest truth. That horse of time, it doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't care if you feel motivated. It has no interest in whether or not you have a clear purpose. It runs, no matter what. So waiting for that perfect feeling to arrive, it's a guaranteed way to get left behind.
So how do we fix this? How do we beat these two sins of low energy and no purpose? Well, it's not about trying to find more willpower. It's about using a system, a scientifically backed method, for finally taking the reins.
I mean, over the years, people have come up with thousands of productivity hacks. But our source points to a study by Harvard researchers who actually analyzed 100 different methods. They cut through all the noise and all the hype to find the single most effective technique for getting things done. And that technique is called time boxing. It's so simple, it's almost genius. Instead of making one of those endless, overwhelming to-do lists, you take every single task and you give it a specific block of time in your calendar. You're not just saying what you're going to do, you're deciding when you're going to do it and for exactly how long. And the difference is just night and day. A to-do list just gives you a dozen things to choose from, which leads to choice paralysis. But time boxing, it gives you one job to do right now. A list doesn't care about your energy levels, but a calendar lets you schedule the hard stuff for when you're at your best. But most importantly, a to-do list is just a random collection of tasks. A time-boxed calendar, well, that's a concrete plan for your life. Okay, this is the obvious next question, right? A plan is only as good as the goals that it's built on. You can't just fill your calendar with a bunch of random busy work. You need to fill it with the right tasks. So, how do you figure out what those are?
Well, the answer is the SMART framework. This is how you give your time boxes their purpose. Your goals have to be specific. Not just, I want to travel, but I want to go to Delhi. They have to be measurable. You need to know how many hours it'll take so you can actually track your progress. They've got to be achievable. Aiming to be a billionaire by next week is just setting yourself up for failure. They must be relevant. Is this something you truly care about? Because if not, you'll never do it. And finally, they have to be time-bound, with a clear start date and a clear end date.
So really, it all comes down to this. Mastering your life, chasing down your biggest ambitions, it all starts in a very simple, very manageable place, your calendar. If you can't even command your own schedule and decide how you're going to spend your own hours, how can you ever expect to command your destiny out there in the real world? And we're going to end on this really powerful idea. Instead of getting addicted to distraction, to entertainment, get addicted to the work itself. Get addicted to the process. Because if you can do that, the only side effect you'll ever have to worry about, the only sickness, will be the sickness of success. The choice, as it always is yours. What are you going to do with your next 86,400 seconds?